Good morning, guys. So there's a auction today that I'm watching. It's two different trucks. It's an online auction, and so I'm on Truck Paper right now looking at some of the different trucks that are similar to this truck, just seeing what I can get. So what I'm looking for is another flatbed truck. As far as a budget, I don't want to spend $100,000. I'm looking to spend anywhere in that $20,000 to $40,000 range, because these are trucks that we use. We only use them in the summertime, or 4 to 6 months out of the year. And even in that time frame, they don't get used, every day from 7 to 5. There's about 1 or 2 of them do, but they're more, backup trucks. When I'm buying at auction, you always want to know, and I'll just give you this little pointer, you always want to know what the value of something is. You can look at something and you can say, oh, I think that's a good deal, and buy it, and look on, for example, this truck, look on Truck Paper and find a truck that is just as nice, and you can go and look at it and you can determine whether the engine's good or bad, or how rusty it is and things like that. Going and looking at a truck gives you a lot better idea of what it's like, versus auction. You're taking a gamble. It's a big risk to buy a truck on auction, so you need to get that truck quite a bit cheaper. I've bought quite a few trucks on auction, and some of them actually we did pretty good on, and there's 1 or 2 that could have done a little bit better on, but usually we get them at quite a bit of a discount, so that way we can put a little work into them. And sometimes I'd rather pay a little less, pay a bit less at auction, and then put the money into them. That way I know exactly what I got. If I have to rebuild the transmission, well, then I know that transmission is going to be good. And maybe just a little bit about the auction company. So this is ironplanet, Ritchie Brothers ironplanet, and I bought quite a bit from ironplanet and from Ritchie Brothers, and so far they've done a very good job of explaining, especially ironplanet. They'll put everything down, and you can go through. They got a description of, you can see the tire wear, you can see, a lot of different things, whether it's working or not. It'll say, here, for example, the air compressor, and it says operational. The fuel system, operational. They go down through and they list everything. They do a video of the engine running. So yeah, they used to do oil samples. I don't see oil samples here, but you can run over to the video and you can see a video of if it's got any blow by. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's got just a little bit of blow by. So that's nice. You can see a lot of information, and they have 85 plus pictures, so almost 90 pictures, 89 pictures actually of this truck. There's this Freightliner. I'll show you guys this Freightliner. I don't know if you can see. 2007 Freightliner. It's between that one and between that Peterbilt, and those are the starting bids of those trucks. One's a 2013. This one over here is a 2013. This is an emission truck. It has a Cummins with all the emissions. It has DEF, and so that is the downfall of this truck. This truck on Truck Paper, I found one fairly similar to this one for around $55,000. It had about 300 and some thousand miles. So about $55,000 I found on Truck Paper that I could buy. Very similar to that, same bed. It wasn't a 367 model, but it was something, again, something similar. And then this Freightliner, 2007, this one is pre-emission, which is pretty huge. And that's the only reason too why I'm leaving. Looking at a Freightliner, I talked to our mechanics and they're like, God, do you really want a Freightliner? But again, this truck is not going to get a ton of use. One of the things too that's going to hurt the value of this truck is it's an automatic. Something like this I might get for around 20, 15, 20. Something like this, maybe in that 25 to 35 range. I'm thinking, because we could have to redo that motor, and get 15, 20,000 into a rebuild, maybe delete it or whatever we have to do to keep that truck running. If I get the Peterbilt, that's something that I want to run every day. I'm going to be spending a little bit more money on it. So our Red Internationals, I'd probably, put one of those as a truck that we're not going to be running as much. Gives you a little idea. I still got to look at Freightliners. Let's go over here to Freightliners on Truck Paper and see what we can find. I was actually looking at some Kenworths. You can see here's an 07 Kenworth, 24-foot bed, 270,000 miles for around 49. Kenworth is actually what I'd love to have, but we'll go back here to Freightliner. So M2 112, and this is in flatbed trucks. So you see this one is 234,000 miles, Detroit motor, probably a Mercedes. The price on that one is $40,000. Here's a 2016, so that was a 13. So let's see if we can find a 2007. These are a lot of newer trucks. Here's an 07, 25-foot flatbed, 350 cat for $26,900, 174,000 miles, but it only has a 12,000 front. So if you see 12,000 front axle, I'd like a 20,000 pound front axle. Let's see what else we can find here. Here's one, 07, but there is no price on it. 24-foot bed, just says call. I'm not familiar with Freightliners, so the M2, you know, I don't really know what all that is. Freightliners, I'm not getting as good of a vibe on, but from what I can tell, if I go back here to these 112s, to the newer ones, you know, so a 2013 you can get for around 40. Here's another 2014. This one is a 79. That's got a 14,000 pound axle. Here's a 2012 for 22. That's got high miles on and emissions, you know, so that's the negative part on these with emissions. Here's a 2012, price is 48. So there's not many with the heavy axle. Seems probably like a little bit of a rare spec. Here's a 2015, you're looking at 60,000. We're gonna go back here to this auction. So these sell today. We're gonna see what we can, you know, the Freightliner sells first and then the Peterbilt. And these already have the attachments on the back. We just have to weld the hooks on it. The other thing that I really like about these trucks is that both of them are from down south. So if you see, this one is in Florida, this one is in Texas. There is another truck beside it, this Sterling triaxle for $6,500. There's a starting bid. Is something that I'm gonna wait. I really, you know, we've had a Sterling before, not a great truck. So it's going to be today, it's going to be between these two. We'll see what we can pick up. I was also watching, you know, trucks I think are not bringing good money right now. This truck right over here sold, and you can see the selling price of this 2007 Freightliner was $12,500. So that's something I'm keeping in mind too. That would have worked. It doesn't have the heavy axle, but it's still, you know, for hauling 6-7 pallets out at a time, would have worked perfect. So, you know, that only went for $12,500. You know, I missed it. But that kind of price, you know, we'll see what these bring. I did a little more digging, and on the Freightliner truck, there is no oil sample, but on the Peterbilt, there is an oil sample. I wanted to also show you is this truck and the other Peterbilt both have this ironclad assurance. What that is basically they're guaranteeing the truck. I actually bought a loader years ago from ironplanet, and it was a bit rusty. So the pictures did not show the rust. And I called ironplanet and I said, listen, I said, the pictures did not show any of this rust. When we got it here, I mean, I think there was a platform that was almost rusted through, and we told them, you know, hey, it's not a big deal, but it is, you know, it is definitely rusted where it's not supposed to be rusted, you know, according to your pictures. And in the description, it said nothing about rust. Well, they said, no, we're gonna take care of it. And they got us new panels from John Deere for this wheel loader. So it's definitely impressive, and their ironclad assurance does work, and they do stand behind their stuff. So that's a good thing when you're buying at auction. Another nice tool when you buy at auction, a way to tell what to pay for it is look at what trucks have been selling for previously. So I go to this little sold, and I can see what has been sold. So I can see here's an 04 International with 87,000 miles that sold for 30,000. You know, here's a couple other trucks that have sold previously at auction. A little bit, you know, what I'm looking at. Here's an 07 Freightliner. Boy, that one's even blue. That one was in Massachusetts. That one I don't think I would want anyway because of the rust, but that one sold for 34. Here's some internationals, actually just like we had or have currently. That's actually what I would love to have. Then I'd have all three the same, but that one is an 06, 123,000 miles, and you can see it sold for $31,000. This is a 09 and it sold for 42. It just gives you a little idea. And then the best thing is don't just go into an auction and bid blindly without doing any, you know, checking around and seeing what you can actually get a truck for or what the auction results are, because that's huge. Real quick, I want to show you. So here is this 2005 Sterling at $97.50, which is, I would consider cheap. 173,000 miles, and it's tempting. It's definitely tempting, but it only has 16,000 pound front axle. To pick up a cheap truck, 15 grand, you know, it's tempting. But there, it ends in 2 minutes. 10,250 is the bid, is what it's up to. We'll see what it sells for. And honestly, guys, I'm gonna be straight with you. I am looking at these trucks. I'm watching them more so if they are gonna go really cheap. If they're gonna go really cheap, I'm gonna buy one. The Freightliner, and it's gonna be between those two. The Freightliner, I'm like, I want it to go high because I don't want to own a Freightliner. The Peterbilt, I hope goes really, really cheap, but we will see. There it goes. It's sold 10,250. That's a great deal for that truck. Some lucky buyer. So guys, auction is going. This truck is up for sale, and the price on it, believe it or not, is $39,000. All right, it keeps popping up there. It has 183 bids, and I know this truck is from Florida, and it's an automatic transmission, and it has, the mileage isn't available, but still, it does not make it worth $40,000. You still have buying fees on top of that. You still have to transport it. If I go over here to Freightliner on truck paper, something similar to that, the very top one, right here is a 2013, a sale price of $40,000. Very similar truck. You could go to that place and you could actually inspect that truck and know exactly what you got, versus this guy on auction. I mean, he's kind of taking a big gamble. Now it's up to $40,000. You can see 4250 is the high bid. So that's why you want to do research. In reality, let me go back to ironplanet. I'm just going to show you some of the trucks that sold. Actually, I think I did show you guys some, but back here. So these are some trucks that sold. If I can, these sold back. Here's a 06 with 123,000 miles. And that sold for $31,000. Here's an 09 and 138,000 miles, sold for 42. So if I can go back, look at some previous history, it helps me out a lot when I'm buying. Well, here's one. This is a 2006 Freightliner. This is like an M class, but 14.5 on this one. So the guy, there's two people that really, really want that truck, because right now, yeah, it's popping up 41.5. That's, to me, that's too much. I know pre-mission, that definitely helps it, but still. Now I'm thinking my chances of getting that Peterbilt for cheap, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen. The only thing I can figure too is, unless this Freightliner has, people are bidding over that automatic transmission, and I know that's huge because you can't get drivers. So maybe that's why it's going so high. I don't know. I'll let you know the final price here. Guys, this truck is up to $43,250. It just went to $43,500. There's basically, I think there's two people just riding this thing out, going back and forth. And by all means, I'm not saying the truck's not worth it. It just seems at auction, they're taking a lot of risk. Maybe they know something that I don't know, but I feel it's a lot of risk to take at an auction to buy a 2007 truck. Especially, I don't know much about Freightliners. Obviously, this truck must be a hot item. I think I can do a lot better. In reality, I was hoping to pay like half that, 15 to 20, in that range for that truck. So we'll see when that comes up and what that thing goes for. It's going to be interesting to compare the two, because they're very similar trucks, same beds, very similar. Sometimes you just got to shake your head and walk away. This truck is now at 56,000. Has about a minute left in comparison. I'm looking in all reality, I go to Peterbilt. There's not a lot of 567 model trucks, but there's a few trucks that stood out to me. There's like a 357 05 for 49. Here's an 06 for 49. Here's an 07 for 44. That's actually got a small lift axle on there. There's also, on the third page here, there is this truck, which actually has a fifth wheel on it, but you could put a steel bed on there for pretty reasonable. And this is a 2013 367, same model, $55,000. Same motor, a few more miles. That's where, guys, you got to just say, you know what? It's not my truck. It's not for me. You just got to walk away. And hopefully some of these pointers I give you guys, when you're buying a truck, especially buying a truck at an auction, you got to realize there's risk. So for this truck, it looks like it actually sold now. Let's see if I can find what it sold for. So It sold for $56,000. So the guy's gonna get that back. You know, he's got a buying fee of, I want to say, right around $1,500, 13 to $1,500. He's got to get it back, and who knows, he could have to replace the tires, which it does give tire wear. A lot of the front tires would have had to be replaced, and some of the back ones were getting down there. You just don't know what, you know, the rest of that truck, you know, is there minor issues you're gonna have to fix up here and there. You know, they do a good job of detailing it out, but you know, I feel that's definitely a little too high to pay, you know, unless I was running that truck year round. It's still a good price for the truck, don't get me wrong, but I think on auction, I'm willing to take a risk, but not that much of a risk, you know. So hopefully, guys, this helps you out in when you decide to purchase, if you're going to purchase at an auction. So definitely do a little bit of research. It pays off. It helps, you know, going back and looking at what is sold prior. You know, I know markets change, things change. So it gives you a good idea what to spend on auction. I really don't need this truck till sometime next spring, next summer, and I'm hoping to get one sometime this winter, so that way we can go through it, get it all ready. So I got lots of time, and I don't need a new truck. I'm just gonna try to find a good used one, possibly even pick one up at auction like this. So we'll see what happens. So much for the auction stuff. Let's go check out the shop. All right, guys, I need your help. We got this flat glass Kenworth in here, and we're having an issue, and I don't know if you Kenworth guys on here ever seen this problem, but check this out. There's a crack there. Over on the other side, there's like spider cracks. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I think it's been like that for a long time. The other problem that we've been having is that windshield is sliding and it's leaking. You can see there's a gap there, and this whole, and you can see where the rubber was, this whole windshield slid over, like slid to the right. I'm not sure what is causing it. I don't know if we have the wrong size glass, but this is PACCAR glass, and maybe it's just the rubber seal. We had taken it out, we resealed everything, and then the whole thing shifted again. So kind of crazy. What we're gonna try to do is take it out, put another seal in it, and when we take it out, we're also gonna check out that corner post as well. So if you guys ever seen anything like that, definitely let me know in the comments, or if you have a fix for something like that, or what caused it, I don't know. So let me know. That's what this truck is in the shop for. We got this blue Peterbilt in here getting a service. And something else at some point, guys, I want to talk about is tires. I'll show you real quick. This truck has 88,000 miles. I want to show you the tires. It's got a lot of life left there. And these are Michelin XDN2s. These have been doing a fantastic job for us. We run a lot of Michelins. We also run the casing, like the XDN2 casing. And for 88,000 miles, we still got a long ways to go. We're used to here, you know, especially with hauling heavy, you definitely don't get the mileage out. And usually we had gotten around 200,000, at least 200,000 on a set of Virgin drives. These, I think we're going to be pushing probably more like 250, 300. So that's a good thing. And there's more trucks in here. I'm not sure why that one's in here. And by the way, guys, I can never do everything here. So there's guys, excellent shop guys here that are working away. I basically do some walkthroughs and yeah, see what's up to date. So I don't get to know what all is happening to every single truck. You doing a service?
Yeah.
Good deal. So that one's a service. This one I know is a service. We were just talking about this truck. This is a truck that's going to need some work this winter. This blue truck is still in here. We're actually working on getting this windshield is going to get changed out. We have another truck that is going there that has a bad windshield. We're going to switch this windshield out, and we're going to actually make it a two-piece windshield. So I'm pretty sure it's going to work. I don't know for sure, but I think so. That's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace out.